Welcome everyone. It's Teek time. Your learning starts here. Welcome Bella. We're gonna talk about a strokeception today. So strokes within streaks within streaks. But before that, we'll get on with the Q&A. And we have a question today from Bella. And that question is, how do you use guidelines? I can't get them to work. Okay, so let's clear your question and let's go to that. So this little icon up the top here, it's like a window wiper, if you can see it. There is a little downward arrow, so we click that and you'll see guides is about the fourth one down. Now this is probably on by default. I know mine's off because it does my head in, but there we go, it's on. And there is one called margin, which is odd because as you'll see, guides affect the margins. So why they've got two, I don't know. Anyway, if we click on guides, you'll see nothing happens. And that's because I've got margins turned off. Because again, they're on by default. So if you've got that little blue line going around your screen and you want to turn it off, that is usually what I do, is turn off guides. But there is another way, which I'll show you in a sec. So right at the bottom of this list, second one up, there is something called guide settings. Now this will allow us to see the guides. We'll go into that menu and you're confronted with this panel full of options. Now there's three types of guide. There's the usual one that you get pretty much in every art program there is. Generally it looks like a ruler, but on here it is just the line. So I'll show you now. Again, this is visible by default, even though they're not on, which I always find a bit odd. But if you want a line across the middle, you press this button on the left, and there you see the red line. So if you want a line in that middle, and you want another line that's up or down from that line, you just press it again and then move the position up or down, and when you click it again it goes back to the center, leaving that line, and you could put as many of these lines as you want and they'll stay there and click until you click the X and get rid of it. Hi Nikki, I just seen the chat. So it works the other way as well. So if we click this button here, second one in on the right, you'll see the red line again. So if we want to leave that in the middle like it is, but we also want another line, you click it again and then move the position, and you'll see that we've got another line. Now, so we want that one there, we tick the box again and it goes back to the middle, so that you can then have another line if you want to. And I say these lines will stay there whether you shut the program or not, it will stay there. So the only way to get rid of them is to either make them invisible or click the X to get rid of them, preferably both, because like I say, they do get annoying. Now the second type, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I think I would have told you to turn margins off because I hate them so much. So the second one is columns. this is much more interesting if you were, I don't know, designing comics, say what this one is on by default, visible again, but 111, you're basically looking at that whole grey square, that is 101. But if we were to cut it into two, say columns is the horizontal and rows is the vertical. So if we go to two columns, you'll see it perfectly matches two columns and gives you basically the margins. So if you were making a comic, say, that would already be set up so that you could use a. If you wanted more panels, say you wanted 3, it will allow probably set up 3 like that. Or if you wanted to add rows, did I say rows? I can't remember whether I got it right the right way or not. But one or t'other, you can add another one, and then you can literally set up like a fucking box. Your message keeps coming up. That's a bit weird, Bella. It's like, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice. I don't know what's going on, but just so you know. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so the third one is the dreaded margins. And as you can see, it's visible right now. Actually, invisible, that's what it was. Yeah, so invisible is when it's down, like that, black. And off is the other way. No, mean the columns. Yeah, I thought I got it round the wrong way, but I corrected myself after a while. But I get what you mean. Or you should get what I mean. Remember, I'm the one with the brain injury. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. So there we go. So you'll probably have seen this blue rectangle, square, whatever it is. Whenever you make a new document and you're brand new to Affinity, you'll see this. And no matter what you do, it will be on. And I would have told you to do one of two things. So one is go into this menu and turn off margins, or 2, go into the windscraper itself and turn off guides and margins, like that, and they're gone. They are so annoying. I hate them so much. But you can set your margins to whatever you want, etc. And you can pick colors and things for all these. So hopefully that deals with your question, Bella. How to use the guidelines and where to find, etc. So there we go. Now getting on to the next question, where it's not really a question, it's another one of these. Teeks come up with something that I want to learn new. So just like last time, it's not really a question, but it's a fun thing with, and it was groups last time. This is now streaks. So this is something I was playing around with, and I think you'll find it interesting, or I hope you do. So what do I mean? Let's go through it. So there's something on this side panel called appearance. Now what this allows you to do is add multiple fills and multiple strokes on the same object. Very cool. Now generally what I've used this for in the past is adding multiple fills, which I'll show you now. So when you want to get this kind of object and you want to put a fill on there, you'll notice that the fill is very linear. It's like one way or the other. So if you wanted more colors or more ways, it's impossible without appearance. And this one, as you can see, it's got the 4 colors. So in the appearance, you've got sorry, my voice. You've got 2 fills, and both have got a gradient fill. My voice is so bad. A gradient fill of various colors to make up that effect. Also, on the top one, you'll notice that it's an average, which is a blend mode, which is what mixes all the colors together. And you'll notice that there's not like a green stuff like that or a yellow, and it's because when one color goes over the top of the other color, it brings out the average, which ends up it was the average between that color and that color, and this just ended up yellow. So that is generally what I use appearance for. But I want to show you something new. And first, I'm going to give you an example. So this is a stroke within a stroke within a stroke within a stroke. So I'll show you the appearance. So we got red, yellow, green, blue. It's all sorts. So we could add another stroke if you wanted to. So remember that they're only like mirrored from the middle outwards. So we couldn't make something like a rainbow, etc. So it's literally like one on top of the other. So if I make another one now, you got 2 plus ones at the top of appearance. The left hand side one that's not coloured in, that's a stroke. The one that is coloured in, that is the fill. So if you wanted to add another stroke, you could just add a stroke, pick the stroke, make it a different colour again, and then pink. And when we change the width, you'll see that there it is. So you could make multiple strokes on the same object. Now I'm just going to go in and delete that particular stroke because I want to show you something else. Now, why would we want to do this? Because you could just make multiple strokes and put them next to each other. The reason being is because they will act like one stroke. To give an example, you can see here the nodes, they're just showing just two nodes, just like a normal stroke, and it acts just like a stroke. So you could like bend it and stuff. Very cool effect. And because you can mix multiple versions of the stroke, and then like dotted lines and various colors and gradients, and the possibilities are endless. And it's generally when you want to add like something like this or something like in these other examples. So you might recognize this. So this is I don't know whether you call it like a binder at school, like the edge of a binder. So if I put it down here now, you'll see that it makes the edge. If I can click on it, there we go. So you've probably all seen that shit before. And that was pretty cool. I've never used it. Yeah, I for some reason I've shied away from using this tool and just been playing with it recently and was like, Oh, actually, it's pretty cool. I like it. So you could do the same again. Make it into whatever shape you want. But like I say, there's loads and loads of different things you can make just by adding strokes on top of strokes. Another example, a rail track. So this is 3 strokes. One is an erase. If I can find the actual file, would help. There we go. So yeah, you've got a normal, an erase, and a normal. I'll go through building these in a sec, but this is seriously cool now. So try and get the railway track to do this. Normally, you wouldn't be able to. You could even add more nodes to it if you want, and get it to go other ways. Like this. From sort of one thing to the other. If I put it off there. And there we go. And you could do that with rivers or anything. If you make that into an asset, does it stay? Let's try that. I have no idea. I've never tried it. So, yeah, this. And go to the assets. And we'll make a new category. And we'll just call this test. And wait till it clears, because this iPad's pretty old. Now, test, yes. Add a subcategory. When it eventually does it. There we go. And rename that as test 1. There we go. So now, when it changes, it takes so long, this thing. So yeah, there we go, test 1. Now we can add asset from selection. Things about it. Oh, it's come on. So if we insert a new one and get rid of the old one. Just use just the new one. Does it still? Yeah, seems to. Very cool. So you could literally make assets of these. That's very cool. Nice, handy to know. You know me in assets. Was that a hint as to you want these all as assets? Super cool ideas. This is just showing you some of the things that you could do. There's tons of different things you could do. So, turn that off. You put the group on. I was up there, so get rid of that. So, you've got a racetrack, and you could do even things like this. So you could have, and that is about 5 strokes on top of each other, all dashed. I'll show you how to build that in a sec. Where's the Strokeception? So again, you can bend this how you want, and it all does the same. So you could literally put this as your racetrack, start or finish. It stays how it is. The other really cool thing is because they're all strokes, you could expand the stroke I know it sounds strange, but if we duplicate it, I'm gonna delete one. So we got our mobile stroke here. I'll show you the appearance. There's all sorts of things which I'll show you in a bit. Where is it? So if we go on move tool and we go up here and we say expand stroke, you'll see that we get 4 different strokes. So we could turn them off individually and you get even more interesting I forgot the word I was trying to say. Like patterns, etc. So what you could also do with these is change the colour. So change it to that. Now it's gone green because I'm using something called contrast negate, which I'll show you in a sec. So that's pretty cool, but not very useful. So let's get back. Now we've got our expanded strokes, and what we're going to do this time is go to our boolean panel, and we're going to say 2 things. We're going to say divide, and this is going to cause chaos, because if you think every little square is going to be separate, so if I go divide, the colors and stuff will go funny, but if you look, there'll be endless squares and you could change every single one to a different color, etc. Making sure they're all set to normal so that you don't get that grey effect. But you can see how many squares. I'm just going to go back and show you what divide does, because I think divide is even more useful. So we're back on our 4 expanded strokes, and we'll just go to, oh no, not divide, XOR. What that does is gets rid of all the black and just leaves white. So what you can do now is change the color to whatever color you want, just like this, which is cool in itself. But also you can go to your gradient tool and make it a gradient of your choice. So we could have pink to blue, and oh, look at that. And that's crazy. That's showing you all the squares. I was gonna show you bending it, but I think that's where we expanded it. So I'll just go back and try doing XOR without expand. So this is just a normal stroke, I think. Now I'm gonna have to delete that and get our original back. Now why is that looking funny? Have I changed something? Just trying to oh yeah, it's got 2 there for some reason. So let's get rid of the old ones. Oh yeah, there's all these expanded strokes. So this is just the original stroke with which can bend sort of. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna duplicate that. So we've got 2, just like this, and I'm just gonna try XOR it just as is, no expansion. No, it doesn't let me. I don't know, I did it earlier then because I was bending it when I had that gradient on. So I'm not sure what I did. But you get the picture. There is a way of doing it. So let's get to how do we build these ones, even though there is multiple things that you could build. So let's go through. Now, this one, dead easy. So we just get a normal stroke. So we'll just make a line like that. We'll change it to that blue colour, the stroke, and we make that a thick line like that. And let's make it 100. There we go. Now we go to appearance and we add a stroke. Now this stroke, we're going to have that green colour, and we'll change the size to, we'll go with 80. Now can you see it's not quite adding up to the other one? And that is because of the end caps. So if we go into appearance, back to our normal stroke, and just change the end cap, this bit here, just to the middle one, like the other one was, it'll match. So that's how we do that. Now then, let's keep adding strokes. So we went to the green one. Let's go for, I think it's yellow. So I'm going to add, for some reason, is put it under the green. I wanted it on top, so I'll just move it. This one is going to be that yellow. And we'll make that. And what was the other one? 80. So we'll make this one 60. And then the last one, if we go back to appearance, add another stroke, and we'll just make this one's colour red. And the size, we'll have it as 40. Yeah, so it's a bit bigger than the other one. But now you can see that's how we made the stroke multiple, if you like. Just like that one there. You can follow along with that. So that's that one. Get some more complicated ones. I've written these down because they're awful to remember. So let's go with this one. And what I've done is just very brief explanation to help me because they are confusing. But it is just quite good to mess around. If I could get this one back. Right. Oh, it just wing. Okay, now. Yeah, so we're gonna make this one. We're gonna make a normal line. Oh no. Continue. And we're just gonna click the X to make a new line. So there we go. Now that ended up curving for some reason, so I'll change that end to sharp again. So now we're just on the normal line, which will make 100 and black. So yeah, 100 black. The middle, no, outer. So there's outer, that's inner, around, and outer, and it's solid, so not dash. This one up here, solid. So that's the first part. Now if I go to the appearance, add another stroke, Now this second stroke is white, and it is 60. So we'll change that to 60. And the cap is the square outer, that one. And it's, oh no, I'm reading the wrong bit. So this cap is round, and it's dashed. Now, these numbers refer to this dash pattern to get that exact. So, as you can see, you can change these, and that's what makes all the funny shapes and stuff. But how these numbers work is just left, right, left, right, left, right, and the bottom one's always 0. So that's cool. So we just tap these in sequence. So this will be 0.5. This one is 1.5. And the rest were 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Squared. So that is how to make that line. And again, if it would let me move it, there we go. So you can see that that makes that. If I shrink it down, there we go. Now let's get on to the next one, which is, let's get rid of these, the railway track. So again, I've got instructions for this, and I'll just change this string. I'll get rid of that node, and then I'll put this on top. In fact, I'll just make them sharp, and then I'll put it back to small. So let's make this stroke. Let's go to the pen tool. Oh no, I keep forgetting. Press the X. That makes a new line. So we'll make a new stroke. It's already in dashed, as you can see. So let's go through this. So we want it black. We want it 80. Oh, I didn't mark. 80. We want it normal mode, which is something else that I'll show you. And the cap is the inner one, square. And it's a solid line. Okay. Go to appearance at the next stroke, and we'll go change this one. So we'll go to any color. So we'll make this red, for example, to make it easy to see. We'll make it 60. So now we can see the red. The cap is the inner one, which is right, and it's a solid line, which is also right. Now, the blend mode of the second one is erase. So with that one ticked, see the little dot. If I go to that one, so that's how you can select which stroke we're affecting. The top one now, or the middle one in this case, we want to press these 3 dots on the left at the top. Now it gives access to the blend modes for that particular layer of the stroke. So this is not normal, this is erase, which is, I think, backwards. So there we go. Now it's erased, and as you can see, that has deleted that part of the black stroke. So that's how we get those 2 lines. And now we're back to adding a stroke. This one is black, and it's 100, and it's the cap square inner, and it's dashed, and there's these numbers again. Say 0.1, 1.0, which I think it already is, and 0.0.0.0.0. Yep. And there we go. We've got our railway track, which we can bend every which way. It's just like our other one up here. Just make that sharp so it straightens it up. And there we go. There's that one. Now for the injured one. So I'll just clear all that. So there's this one. Now this one is a little bit more technical than the others, as you've seen. I'll just move it up top, because again, I've written down all the tech specs of getting this one to work. But again, this is just trial and error of, what does this do? What does that do? How many dashes would this need? So you just play around till it works. So this was just what I found worked. So let's make this one now. So we'll start a fresh line and we'll make that first line. Now this is 100% white, and it's a, it doesn't say, I'm sure it's, oh yeah, solid at the end. Yeah, solid cap square inner, which is, and it's a normal, which I'm sure this will be. We'll check. Yeah, it says normal just there. That's how you know. So let's add our second stroke. This is 100% black. And it's got a square inner, but it's dashed. And this is where numbers come in. So it's O2, and it's O2. And 0.0.0.0.0. Yep. For some reason this is going off the edge of the page, but I know the bottom one's always 0. That looks right to me, like a zebra crossing. So let's add the next stroke with the parents. So the third one is a white again. It's a 60. And it's a solid, yeah. A cap square inner. Now this one has got a blend rate on it, so where it says normal hair, to change it from normal, we want to go to the 3 dots, and then we gotta find if it would work. It's not working. Why is it not good working? Affinity. Try again. Yeah, there we go. Very weirdness. Great notes on making it. Yeah, I was like, I'm never gonna remember how to make them, and I want to show them. And also, when I put these into the chat later, it'll be easier for other people to make them. That's what I was thinking as well. But yeah, definitely wouldn't have remembered all these. It's so confusing. So this one is negation, which is going to be dinosaur. It just goes through the blend maze until we find negation. There we go, negation. And then on to our next one. Streak. And this one is black at 20. And it's square inner, the one. Solid, yep. And it's contrast negate. So back up to here. Hopefully it works. Yeah, it did. So contrast negate till you find it. Just find contrast negate. Contrast negate. There we go. So there's all the confusing ones as you've seen, but we have that effect of the checkered flag, which is awesome, and we can bend exposure just like the original. Very cool. So, like I say, the possibilities are endless. You could make rivers and all sorts of stuff. Now you could make a brush that does this, but then you wouldn't be able to use XOR and stuff on it, change the color, etc. Like down to the individual square and stuff. This is very cool. So I hope that you found that interesting. That was the end of the demo. So to go back to the Q&A, and I'll open up the floor to any questions that anyone's got. Great news, yeah. That is a really good idea. Absolutely. So if anyone's got any questions, etc., I'll try and answer them. Just leave it a minute because I know the chat takes ages to catch up. But yeah, strokes within strokes within strokes. Nikki, you don't have any questions? Okay. So if no one else has got any questions, then I think I'll call it a night, and I will see you next week. So thank you very much for coming, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.